Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Mondaine. We are in season 5, episode 4. Glad to have y'all in. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We are on YouTube and Rumble if you want to catch the video every week, Wednesday nights. And you can catch us on all audio platforms if you want to listen to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. You already know what it is, how we always start this thing off. We're going to start with the layup lines. And let's get into it with the Olympics. Of course, that's what's going on right now. That's kind of what's getting us through the summer in terms of sports. So we're just going to get right into that. Everything is going great so far for the Americans, USA. We lead the medal count, but we don't lead in gold. We're about 6th in gold medals, and that's because obviously all the sports got to accumulate. But we do lead the Olympics in medaling. So shout out to all of the athletes from USA that are over there representing in Paris. Now, something huge happened over the weekend and probably on Monday, but this was huge. The USA in Olympic history has the most medals, period, by a wide margin. But something very special happened on Monday. We got our 3,000th gold medal. Our 3,000th medal in the history of the Olympics. 3,000 medals. All right, that is far beyond anybody else in the world. Germany's second. They're a little bit over 1,000 medals. We have 3,000. So congrats to the USA for that. 3,000 medals in the Olympics over the last 100 or so years is ridiculous. It just shows you how much we win, take pride in our sports, go out and represent and compete. So happy to be from the U.S. when it comes to that for sure. And what else have we learned from the Olympics so far? Simone Biles, right? The greatest gymnast I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. And she solidified that in this Olympics. They got a team gold today, this morning, and they solidified it. They called it the redemption tour from what happened in Tokyo, getting silver. They come back with a team. Simone Biles leading the way, gets gold with a bum leg, a bad calf. She's still represented, one of the best, still doing moves that no other person in the world can do. And again, easy to see that with your own 2 eyes. Simone Biles, best gymnast I've ever seen. And I like how she has these like subtle reminders that she gives everybody in the world, like that she is the GOAT. I remember in the last Olympics, she had kind of like a bedazzled little goat on her jacket. Like little things like that is dope. You know, subtle reminders are key, right? Women's basketball. So they blew out Japan. That was actually a fun game to watch. Japan got up on them defensively, tried to speed the game up. The Americans, we had to figure it out over the course of a game. It's a 40-minute game, so you don't have as much time to figure it out, but they did, and it was cool to see. Obviously, we ended up blowing them out. Just too much depth, too much size. Breanna Stewart is a matchup nightmare for the WNBA, so I can only imagine what she is in the Olympics. They have no answer for her, inside, outside. She is the Bam Adebayo for the women's team in terms of Swiss Army knife, can play inside out. She's athletic. She's tough. She rebounds. She can pass. She can bring the ball up. And A'ja Wilson, again, just asserting her dominance all the time. I think she had like 12, 13 rebounds on top of the 20-plus points. The women will probably cruise to their 8th gold medal. And then Diana Taurasi. Even Diana Taurasi at 42 years old is still showing that she can play at a high level. So shout out to her. She's about to get 6 gold medals in basketball, which is crazy because it's one event and you can only medal in one thing. It's not like swimming, right, where you can get in multiple events, or track and field, or even tennis where they can do doubles and singles. She's strictly playing women's 5-on-5 basketball, and she's so great that she has been able to sustain and play long enough to have the opportunity to win 6 straight Olympic gold medals, and I think she does it. Just ridiculous. Unreal for women's basketball, Diana Taurasi. If y'all have little girls out there or little ladies out there that want to play basketball, Diana Taurasi is the model for it. Check her out. On the men's side, men handled their business 2 days for their 2 games. They played earlier today against South Sudan, won by 17. And then on Monday, they took care of business against Serbia, which I knew they would. South Sudan, I don't want to say surprise them or definitely gave them a scare. Any game you win by 1 point is a scare. But they came in a lot more focused in this game from start to finish. It was a little bit of a lull in the third quarter, but defensively you can see the difference, the intensity, the attention to detail on the defensive end. They're still sloppy as hell on the offense, overpassing, trying to thread needles when they don't need to. But what I'm figuring out or what I'm seeing from the first 2 games is, number one, we have Kevin Durant and nobody else does, right? We saw what he did against Serbia. I mean, this dude hadn't played meaningful basketball in 2 months, and he just comes out like he's been playing all year, every day. Smooth as always, the Slim Reaper for sure. And then even in this game, he made the adjustment. They try to get physical with him. They think he can't handle the physicality. Okay, I'm going to go to the line and make almost every free throw. And then, because I'm such a threat offensively, I'm going to make great passes. He had a nasty pocket pass to AD. AD flew from the logo in the paint and dunked. It was nasty. So, Kevin Durant, we have him and y'all don't. Number one. Number two, Steve Kerr is tweaking. All right. I say this because, yes, you have a lot of stars. Yes, coaching an Olympic basketball team is hard to do. I understand that. I'm a basketball player. I get it. I say tweaking because you have to be able, with all these great coaches here, Ty Lue, Spo, Mark Few, you have to be able to find minutes for these guys. I don't believe that Jason Tatum and Halliburton sitting in a 20-point game in the fourth quarter. You can't find minutes for them to get a feel for Olympic basketball, right? I know Tatum won a gold medal, but this obviously is a new Olympics. Halliburton hadn't played. I guess he made up for it today with starting Tatum because of the match. They're going to make it seem like, yes, we got to put in Tatum and no Embiid for the matchups. And then Embiid doesn't play. Embiid may be different just because Joel Embiid, it might be low management for him. I don't know. He might be ailing with something. And he'll probably play in the next game against Puerto Rico because of the size. But what I'm saying is this. These hockey subs, these platoons, get that out of here, man. Like, these guys are professionals. They understand the game. Getting to figure out what lineups work by doing 5 at a time is not going to help figure out what lineups work. Now you're just getting these 5 guys to play together. Mesh these guys in together. I understand Tatum didn't play in the first game. Obviously, he's got to play behind KD, LeBron, Book. I get it. But for a guy who has just done what he's done in the NBA season, the confidence that he has coming into the Olympics, you have to make sure you don't lose that. He's still a young player, 26. You don't want to lose what he has. Now, coaching obviously is managing personnel, but you got to manage personalities and egos also. Halliburton's a young enough player that hasn't accomplished much. He's kind of on the rise where, yeah, he understands. And I told y'all this a couple episodes ago. With the addition of Derek White, who has been playing phenomenal, by the way, doing everything that USA needs on the defensive end, all the dirty work. He's been doing it all. Doesn't turn the ball over, plays smart, winning basketball. I told y'all when they get him that Halliburton probably won't play much because of what Derek White brings to the table. He just kind of shores up things on the court, right? It won't be some sporadic plays. His veteran experience helps, whereas Halliburton is still young. So with his ego, you're not probably going to get that. You probably won't lose Hallie, but with Tatum, you have to manage that and make sure he understands what's going on the court, why he's not playing. I'm sure they are. I'm just kind of letting you guys, the audience, understand that too. He should have played in the first game. Now, he played in the second game, played well. He can play better, but he played well. He made his impact on the defensive end. Bam Adebayo showed y'all, like I just said about Stewie, Bam being a Swiss Army knife. This dude, I mean, he showed you the three-point repertoire. Yes, the line's closer, but he can shoot threes in the NBA. The physicality, even though South Sudan was trying to be physical, it didn't bother Bam one bit. All right. He can bring the ball up the court. He can obviously finish inside. He showed you his outside range. We know his mid-range, free throw line extended game is elite. And even Michael Beasley told y'all, if y'all pay attention and watch these podcasts, I think he was on the podcast with Udonis Haslam and Mike Miller. He talked about, because they asked him, they said there's a rumor Michael Beasley had never lost a one-on-one. He talked about Bam Adebayo is probably the only one that beat him. And that when he plays in the Miami Heat uniform, we don't get to see the full repertoire of what Bam can do. And in Olympic basketball, this is where you can show that, like Carmelo used to do, like KD does. Bam is going to be that next wave of players that you see, like Bam Adebayo fits FIBA basketball to a T because he can do it all. So I also learned that, like I said, Steve Kerr needs to stop tweaking, figure out these lineups, stop with the platoons, just plug guys in where they can in terms of matchups, watch film and look at the other teams when they are subbing guys in, who matches up well against that. Obviously, everybody can play, so figure it out. I would say we're going to win gold, but I want to dominate. That's the hallmark of Team USA in basketball. And because I know a lot of kind of casual fans or people that are just new to watching Olympic basketball wonder, like, why are these teams still trying to score or run up the score to end the games? The point differential matters in terms of like tie break or in terms of wins and losses. So with that being said, dominate. All right. So moving over to Major League Baseball in the layup lines, the trade deadline was yesterday. I don't know if it was a lot that went on. I mean, a lot didn't really move the needle for me in the baseball trade deadline. I think a lot of these trades will come to fruition in the playoffs, which obviously is what it's for, but you probably won't see much of an impact right away. The Dodgers did some stuff with their bullpen and they get Kershaw back. So that was cool. The White Sox had a damn fire sale and they just look like a team that is trying to tank now and trying to rebuild, but they don't even know how to do that right. So the GM is terrible in his first year. If you're going to get rid of everybody out of the clubhouse, let Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet go too and get some good prospects at least. They couldn't even do that right. So I'm upset with the White Sox. As a White Sox fan, they just terrible. I mean, the damn pigeons don't even want to sit in the seats out at Comiskey or whatever they call the field now, guarantee rates. Nobody wants to sit out there and watch these dudes play. It's a bad product. The GM in his first year is bad. Our great players are gone. Soon as Tim Anderson left, I knew there was no leadership in the clubhouse. They hired a Royal to be the manager. He's probably sabotaging us from the inside. I'm just, if you can't tell, I'm not happy with the Chicago White Sox. And the trade deadline just is a very good indicator of how bad this season has been. They'll probably lose 120 games this year. So, again, nothing really moved the needle for me at the trade deadline. I think the Yankees are trying to make a move. They're actually on a nice little hot streak right now in this Phillies series. So they may make some moves. Carlos Stanton's coming back. We'll see what the three-headed monster looks like. And we'll also get into the baseball power rankings later on in the show. All right. But before we get into all of that, the power rankings and everything, we're going to shift and switch gears. And we're going to talk about the Olympics. We're going to swing back over to that, right? Did the Olympics save the summer for y'all like it did for me? From a sports standpoint, the Olympics saved the summer this year. I'm not happy that it only happens once every 4 years. So there's 3 years in between where we don't have anything. We get the dog days of baseball in July and August, and then we're just patiently waiting for football season to start. So I believe the Olympics saves the summer. It's definitely saved this summer for us. And I've been a fan of the Olympics since I was a kid. I don't remember the 92 Olympics that much. Barcelona, the dream team, I don't really remember it like that. I remember going back and watching it, but in the moment, I don't remember it in real time. The first Olympics I remember is 1996, when it was in Atlanta, Dream Team 2, Shaq, Penny, all of them, Scotty. I remember Muhammad Ali carrying the torch, one of the most iconic things in sports history happened in Atlanta. A couple years back, I even had the opportunity to go to Olympic Park in Atlanta. All of it is still up. The rings are still up there. I got pictures with that. It was amazing. Being a sports guy, that was kind of a bucket list thing for me. I was happy to do that. But yeah, the Olympics in the summertime, it saves us sports fans for sure. You get the greatest athletes in the world all in one place competing for 3 weeks to see who's the best. And if you are a competitor, and a sports fan, like this is the epicenter for that. And it's located now in Paris, right? To get to see all these athletes, I'm glad that it's in Paris and not like Tokyo or something like that where they're 12, 13 hours apart. So I don't have to get up at 4 a.m. to watch these games. Like these games are in the afternoon during the day. At least I can, I'm awake and coherent when they're happening. But yeah, man, it's just great to see. The Olympics has always been a great thing. I'll tell y'all a quick story. So in 2008, when the Redeem Team happened, Michael Phelps was Phelpsing in the water, right? When he was crushing everything, making Olympic records. I worked at a sports camp over on the East Coast. And in this sports camp, they had every sport. I mean, like in Olympics, basketball, tennis, hockey, lacrosse, rafting, kayaking, dance, cheerleading, everything, right? It was amazing for somebody like myself. Obviously, I was in the basketball camp. I was helping out with those kids. But the camp, they do an Olympics for the kids. So the real Olympics is happening in '08. We're over in this camp, and they do an Olympics for these kids every summer. So it was just incredible to see a camp. I wish I had went to something like this when I was a kid. These kids got to compete in everything. They put them in different teams. They let the counselors like myself and others, shout out to Camp Starlight, for letting us coach and lead these teams, do chants with them, all this stuff, get them hyped up to play. I think I had more fun at these Olympics than the kids did. And I didn't even participate. That's how exciting it was. And that's what the Olympics has always done for me. It's always been a time to be proud of the country and the people that go out and represent it, and to watch them win and compete. And it's just pretty cool. Like, these athletes work so hard to get to this point to win, and to see them win it and accomplish it and see the looks on their face when they do win medals is pretty cool. And for us as a country to have 3,000 medals, I mean, if you're a sports fan from the U.S. that played sports your whole life and enjoy it, that's got to make you feel good. So for me, the USA, the Olympics always saves the summer for me. I know Ms. D is like, oh, more sports, but she's even a fan of the Olympics because she loves the competition of it all too. And we get to learn other sports. I mean, we got breakdancing in there now, skateboarding. We got all types of stuff. We're learning handball. We're getting to see how that looks. So it's just great to learn about more sports. It's fun. I enjoy it. I'm having a great time every day, looking and seeing the medal count, seeing what our guys do, seeing what other countries are good at. It's pretty cool. So good to see. All right. You are tuned in to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, Season 5, Episode 4. We are on YouTube and Rumble every Wednesday night. And for all the audio, you can always catch us on all the audio platforms. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow the X-Factor Sportz Podcast on all the social media platforms. Check us out. All right. Now, let's get into something real quick as I pivot. I'm going to get into the NFL. Are y'all seeing these contracts? Do these contracts seem crazy to y'all? Specifically, the quarterbacks that are getting these contracts, right? Let's talk about these contracts. So the NFL, so now, let me back up. I'm never hating on anybody getting their money. All right, this is a disclaimer. I want everybody to get their money. I understand football is a violent sport. You have a short window of your life to play it, maximize them dollars, get paid. The collective bargaining agreement allows it, so go for it. Now, let me step aside and say this. The way these quarterbacks are getting paid is ridiculous. All right. And I mean it in the sense of merit, not in the sense that quarterbacks shouldn't get paid. It's the most important position in sports, I believe. So yes, they deserve it. It's a value proposition. But it's gotten to the point now that these teams and these owners have gotten so scared that they can't find a quarterback that they just pay the first quarterback that looks good for 1 year. For example, Jordan Love is the highest paid quarterback. Jordan Love is the highest paid player in NFL history. Jordan Love, a guy that could not get on the field his first 3 years. Aaron Rodgers leaves. He starts playing. Didn't really look that great the first 6 games of the season. Starts playing better. The Packers go to the playoffs. He wins 1 playoff game. And then they lose the next game. He's the highest paid player in the history of football. Now, he has no Pro Bowls. He has no All-Pros. He has 1 playoff win. He has no division titles. He has no accolades at all. How the hell is he the highest paid player in NFL history? I already gave y'all my disclaimer before. I ain't hating on him getting his money, but the NFL needs to take a serious look at this, right? Something needs to be changed about the system of how these players are getting paid. The system is broken because there's no way that he should be the highest paid player. And before that, it was Trevor Lawrence, who had done nothing. At least he had been a Pro Bowler, but he's done nothing significant in the league to warrant being the highest paid player. So I understand how important the position is. And they're taking advantage of the system. It's kind of like James Harden, right? For a basketball reference, James Harden took advantage of the rules when he was in Houston, which made his offense more prolific with the step back, the swing through, getting to the line, all these things, right? He took advantage of the rules. I get it. And now he's in the conversation as one of the greatest 2 guards ever, which, whatever. So back to football, these guys are just taking advantage of the rules that we have now in terms of cap. But let's slow down, man. Jordan Love. So you mean to tell me, just for reference, if y'all didn't know, Patrick Mahomes is like the 11th highest paid quarterback in football. He has 2 league MVPs, 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He's all pro, I don't know how many times. And he becomes a Pro Bowler in his sleep. I say all that to say this. Yes, timing is everything. He got his contract when he got it. He took the Brady route because he wants to win, and it's working. But the fact that these other quarterbacks who've done nothing can go into a negotiating room with a straight face and say, I'm worth this, when that guy is over there doing what he's doing, right? What are we talking about? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson deserved his money. He was a league MVP already. He was an all-pro already. Before his rookie deal was up, he did these things and earned his contract. No problems with that. If you can do that on a rookie deal, you've earned the right to whatever. Slide your money or slide your number over to me, Lamar. We gotta honor it. Tua Tagovailoa, I think, is the 3rd highest paid. He was second until Jordan Love saw it on social media and was like, yeah, I want to get paid more than him. So With Tua, I'm gonna look at this from a business standpoint, y'all. Look, this has nothing to do with the player getting his money, but I'm using the business side of the brain here. So stay with me. If you're an owner of a franchise, and this is very important, this franchise is located in Miami, Florida, and they play in the AFC East, where all of their opponents in their division are in the North, a colder climate. Your quarterback does not play well in cold climate. He has a track record that shows it. There's a body of work that shows he's not good under 50 degrees, right? He has like one win in his career. We have to worry about the concussions. Majority of the games that he's going to play, unless they're the 1 seed in the AFC, will be outside and it will be cold because the playoffs coincidentally are in January. He's going to have to go to Kansas City or Baltimore or Buffalo. If the Jets are miraculously good, he'll have to go up to New York. He may get lucky and go to Houston in the Dome, but if he has to go to a Pittsburgh, if he has to go to Cincinnati, all of these teams are in the AFC and they're in the northern part of the country and it's cold as hell in January and they have good quarterbacks. When you have a quarterback that cannot play in that climate and he's not better than any of these teams' quarterbacks that I just named, as a business owner, how can you justify that contract? He's not worth that contract. Again, I ain't mad at him for getting it. He got it. But let's take a step back. He's not worth that money. So when he gets that money, it shifts the market. And now you got guys like Jordan Love that says, hey, I had a good season and my contract is up. I want to be the highest paid quarterback. And the reason that I can be the highest paid quarterback is because you are afraid if I don't get paid, I leave and it kills your franchise. The system is broken. All right. I don't expect everybody to think like Tom Brady and think like Patrick Mahomes because not everybody is that. And not everybody will make the money on endorsements off the field. Mahomes owns teams off the field. So that is an outlier. I get it. But come on, man. When are we going to start paying the players that are great for their greatness and stop paying the players just because it's the right time? Okay. So Jordan Love gets that contract. He's on a team of young guys. So I guess it makes sense. You got to pay him. There's nobody on their team that's great. So I guess that's justifiable. But when you have a Tyreek Hill, a Jaden Waddle, you got these guys on your team and your quarterback's the highest paid player and we know that he's a liability, that should turn some heads for sure. So you guys let me know what you think. Does the NFL need to change? Obviously, there's going to be a collective bargaining agreement soon where they're going to have to shift things. I think they should do it like this. I think that they should make it almost like the NBA, like a Supermax, where if you make an All-NBA, you make an All-Pro in the NFL or Pro Bowl or something worth merit, then you're eligible for a certain contract. I think there should be eligibility clauses as opposed to, yeah, it's my time to get paid. Now, Dak's going to be the highest paid player in NFL history because he's waiting to see what everybody else gets paid. It's a waiting game, and he'll wait, and then they'll give him his money. And I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. When I look at that, I'm just wondering, what is the future of this salary cap? Because it's so broken and they're so far to the left. In the CBA negotiations, I feel like they're going to try to swing all the way back to the right, and that's where issues and lockouts come in. So hopefully they can figure this thing out. But when a guy that's played 18 games and was good in 12 of them is the highest paid player in NFL history the next season, that's got to make players feel some type of way, whether they want to admit it or not. It's crazy to me. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Is this salary cap thing out of control? Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. We're on YouTube and Rumble. If you ain't subscribed yet, you need to. What are you doing? Go ahead and do that. So yeah, let me know, man. Is this salary cap out of control? Is this cap or what? All right. Okay. Like I said, man, YouTube and Rumble, check us out. All the audio platforms you can listen to. The X-Factor Sportz Podcast is on them. And now we're going to get to the baseball segment of the show. And with the baseball, we haven't done any power rankings before. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch this thing up and do some power rankings for y'all. All right. For baseball this season, I wanted to wait till after the trade deadline to see how teams did after the All-Star game and see what this push is. But as of right now, this is where we're at in the power rankings. It has nothing to do with record per se. That has a little bit to do, but it's about how these teams are playing and how they're pushing towards the playoffs in October. So we're going to run down this list for y'all real quick. All right. And who we got at the 10 spot? We got the Boston Red Sox at the 10 spot. Now, they're on a bit of a skid, but again, they're in the toughest division in baseball, the American League East, with two teams that could possibly win the World Series in their division that they're fighting for. They do have a spot in the wild card as we speak. And the reason they made these power rankings, they are one of 10 teams with over 500 runs scored this year. And that offense is amazing. They just got to get this pitching down. They got one of the best point differentials in baseball. Also, Boston Red Sox at 10. I think they can make the playoffs. We'll see who they match up with and see if they can make a run. But we got them at 10. At number 9, and just so y'all understand the theme, you see a lot of American League teams on this power ranking. It's not because I'm an American League guy. The American League is better than the National League. I don't think there's any dispute with that, right? We understand if we watch baseball, the American League's better? Okay, cool. So at number 9, the Minnesota Twins. The Twinkies, they are battling with some injuries right now, but I love the way that Byron Buxton's playing. And when his guys come back, if he can keep this going, keep them afloat, they can make a run to fight for the division for the American League Central against the Guardians. They're right there with them. It's a battle. They're trying to keep the Royals at bay while trying to climb up the ladder against the Guardians. I like them. They can make a run if they're healthy. At number 8, we got the Royals in the division with them in this American League Central. The Royals look good, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm impressed. They can play with anybody is what I've been seeing all season. If I had to say one sentence about the Kansas City Royals, is they can play with anybody. On any given night, they can win a ball game. They're tied with the Twins in the division. I think the Twins got the tiebreaker, so if you look at the standings, it'll look like they're above them. The Royals got a potential American League MVP candidate. Bobby Witt Jr. is coming into his own. He was an all-star. You saw him at the Home Run Derby almost win in his hometown. And he looks good. I mean, he just signed a big contract with the Royals, so he's the future. I hope they can keep him. He's exciting to watch. The Royals look good, man. They've been winning some games. Hopefully they can put it together. If not this year, they're definitely going to be able to put something together next year, I think. So they're going in the right direction. I think they picked up some things at the trade deadline too, at least some prospects. So they're trying to make a future for themselves, unlike the White Sox. So we'll see how that goes. And at number 7, I don't know how this team does it. The Atlanta Braves, I mean, they lose their best players and they still figure out a way to win ball games, man. They're just a well-run franchise, a well-run ball club. Even with all the injuries, they're still a good team. They hold the first wild card spot in the National League. And if some more players can get healthy, they could scare some teams. I know they're not going to be 100%. They got players out for the season, but it's still the Braves, man. And in this iteration of the Braves, this team, they've been scary in the playoffs. They can play with anybody as well. I know the Dodgers don't want to see them. That's like the Braves are kind of like they kryptonite. But then they probably don't want to see the Phillies. So there's a little triangle there. And the Phillies don't want to see the Dodgers. So there's a little 3-way triangle there for them. But it's all about matchups with the Braves. they can play with anybody just like the Royals, I feel like. So I like them. At number 6, and they might be climbing because of what they're doing to the Phillies, but I got them right now. When I did the rankings, I had them at 6, the New York Yankees. The Yankees are starting the streak right now. They're only one game behind the AL East leading Baltimore Orioles. So if they can get Juan Carlos Stanton back, that three-headed monster with him, Judge, and Juan Soto, they can get that offense clicking. They can score 6, 7, 8 runs on anybody too. The pitching is a little bit of a concern, but we'll see what they do with that. And they just got a guy too before the trade deadline who's balling out. Hit a couple home runs in the last few games. So it's cool. It'll be cool to see him. Jazz Chisholm. He's been exciting. I think the Yankees are going for it this year. It's always good to see the Yankees do well. And for those who hate the Yankees but understand baseball, when the Yankees are good, it's good for baseball. It's like the Lakers, right? When the Lakers and the Celtics are good, it's good for the NBA. When the Knicks are good, that's good for business. When the Yankees and Dodgers are good, it's good for business. So, and they're good right now. So get Stanton back, make this push, try to win the division, but they look good right now. At 6, I got the Guardians, man. It's crazy. You got 3 teams out of the American League Central here in the Power Rankings. And they lead the AL Central right now. They've been pretty consistent all year long. And I don't believe in them in the playoffs, though. So it's a Power Rankings, and we're talking about how good they are right now. And right now, they're one of the top 5 teams in baseball from a Power Ranking standpoint. But I don't believe in Cleveland in the playoffs, man. Something happens to them in the playoffs. What's going to happen is they're going to run into a Yankees or they're going to run into a Red Sox, one of them teams that they can't match up with, and they're going to get beat. I hope I'm wrong, but as for Power Rankings, they're one of the top 5 teams. But in the regular season, they've been so consistent, I have to show them love. At number 4, the Brew Crew. Can't believe this. A National League Central team made this power ranking. But they're another team like the Red Sox. They have over 500 runs scored. The offense is great. They lead the AL Central. I think they'll win it going away. St. Louis is probably 6 games behind them. I don't think St. Louis will catch them. There is time, but the Brewers are playing well. So I don't see any threats in their division. So they'll get home playoff game. And then the offense is good. And they got a rookie that's pretty good too, Jackson Chourio. Hopefully I said his last name right. He looks good. He looks like he can be a National League Rookie of the Year. So if he can keep that momentum going and make this push to the playoffs, I think they can do well too. At number 3, Mr. $700 million and the rest of them, Mookie Betts, the LA Dodgers. They get Clayton Kershaw back, which is crazy. Kershaw ain't played all year, and they still one of the best teams in baseball. They own the National League West, and they've owned it for like 7, 8 years. They're like the Chiefs of their division in the West. They've just been running shop. So amazing how they have been this good without Kershaw, and now he's back. And he basically had a bunch of rest, and he can make a push to the playoffs. Hopefully it pays off. And with this all-star lineup, they won 7 of the last 10 games. They're one of the hottest teams in the last 10. So Dodgers at 3. Number 2, we kind of touched on them when we talked about the Yankees, the Baltimore Orioles, leading the toughest division in baseball. So you got to show them love there. They got an MVP candidate as well. And one of the few teams in baseball that has a better road record than home record. So you got to show love to that. That just shows you that the Orioles can play anywhere. If they get into a playoff series, you know you can go on the road and win games. They have playoff experience last year. So look to see the Orioles do something in this postseason. But right now, they're the number 2 team in the power rankings. And at number 1, even though they are getting beat up by the Yankees in this series, nobody's played better baseball this season than the Phillies, right? With Bryce Harper and crew, they look great. Their pitching staff is great. They are tied with Cleveland with the best record in baseball. And second best point differential in baseball. Like the Phillies have looked good all year long. So got to put them at number one. They've been the most consistent team in their division, where I don't know if they were picked in the preseason to win it. Maybe the Braves were, but the Phillies look great. And if that pitching keeps up, this could be your National League representative in the World Series. So to recap, we got the Red Sox at 10, the Twins at 9, Royals at 8, the Braves at 7. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. Yankees at 6, Guardians at 5. I hope I didn't call them the Cleveland Indians. I apologize if I did, but they are the Cleveland Guardians. The Brew Crew at 4, Dodgers at 3, Baltimore Orioles at 2, and your Phillies at 1. So you guys let me know what you think about that list. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe here on the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. And tell me if you like that list or not. Let me know if it was a good list, a bad list. Did I miss a team? Is there a team that should leapfrog another? Y'all let me know what y'all think. I like hearing the back and forth. So before we get out of here, though, all right, you know we always got to get into it, the 2-minute warning. I appreciate you guys all tuning in to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast here on Rumble and YouTube. But before we go, we're going to talk about this here. Being the sum total of the people you hang around. All right? You are the sum total. What does that mean, Jay? So if you are the sum total of the people you hang around with, that means that you are who your friends are. Simply put, right? Your environment is a reflection of who you are. So if I am starting a friendship or a business relationship with somebody, I want to see who the type of people you hang around with. I've always been that way. I want to see, again, where your thinking comes from, where your influence comes from, to make a decision if I want to do business with you, if I want to continue a friendship, build a relationship. Because we are the sum of who our friends are. I try to stay around solid people. I try to be around good people. I want that to reflect who I am, right? If you're around people that are doing bad things, I'm going to assume you do bad things or you have done bad things. Nobody's perfect. You know, we all have a past. But as we grow up, it's something that needs to be understood from a corporate standpoint, from just a human standpoint, right? We are the sum total of the people we hang around. So just be careful who you hang around with, man. If you don't want negative energy, don't hang around people that are negative. If you want to be rich, if you want to be successful, find people that are successful at what you want to be successful at and network and be around that. And through osmosis and learning and conversation, that will help you get to where you want to go. So just think about that as you move around, right? That energy. If you want positive energy, move around positive people. If you want negative energy, it'll find you if you stay around negative people. Even if you're like, nah, I'm not that type of person. If the sum of the people around you are, it will reflect on you as that, right? People believe what they see and what you tell them and what you show them. So just make sure to stay around positive vibes, good attitudes, people that help you reach your goals, help you be successful. Try to be a magnet and a sponge for those types of people. All right. I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. This is Jay Mondaine of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you like the gear you see every week, the hats, the shirts, go ahead and scan that QR code. It takes you to our X-Factor Sportz store, where you can purchase shirts and hats, all sizes, all colors. Let me know, or you can message me on social media. Let me know what you need. We can get that out to you. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. This is Jay Mondaine of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, Season 5, Episode 4. Tune in next week to Episode 5. We're going to get into more Olympic play, the men's and women's basketball, their quarterfinals. We're going to give you a prediction on who we think will win gold, silver, and bronze in the basketball. And we will get more into football. It's getting exciting. We got a Hall of Fame game tomorrow. We got the Bears playing. I wish that the starters were playing, but I'm still excited. Football is back. We might even sprinkle in a little bit of fantasy football talk. if we do that. So this is Jay Mondaine of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Peace.